The new California Republic, or NCR as they like to call themselves, is an enigma wrapped in the trappings of a bygone era. They parade around the Mojave, flags waving, heralding themselves as the last hope for a new civilization. But I've seen civilizations rise and fall. I've been the architect of some of those changes myself. As someone who once lived by the sword of ideology, I can see the flaws in their facades. They speak of democracy, of law, of a return to an era that died the day the bombs fell. But let's dissect this for what it truly is. A quest for power, shrouded in self-righteousness. Their rise to power was no miracle, nor was it divine fate. It was opportunism. They found a fractured world scrambling to pick up its pieces, and they offered something that could resemble stability. Old world books speak of Rome, a civilization that expanded through a balance of the sword and citizenship. The NCR is not so different. They spread like wildfire, from Shady Sands to the Mojave, offering the gift of citizenship, with its rights and privileges, at the cost of conformity. The tribes they could not assimilate were eradicated or pushed aside. They claimed to bring order and unity, but their path is soaked in the blood of those who disagreed. What troubles me is not their imperialistic behavior. No, history has shown that might often makes right, as unfortunate as that is. What troubles me is the veneer of civilization they apply to their actions. Currency backed by water, a senate of elected representatives, a president to guide them, all hollow echoes of a world long dead. They sell the dream of the old world, not as a warning, but as an ideal to aspire to, forgetting perhaps that it was this very ideal that led to the apocalypse. Its governance as theater, a pantomime for the masses, while the NCR's coffers fill with resources, gold, water, and old technology. Now, they stretch their arms toward the Mojave, toward Hoover Dam. They seek the electricity it offers, another jewel to add to their tarnished crown. But the Mojave is a cruel mistress, unforgiving and stern. The NCR will find no easy victories here. The dam is not just concrete and turbines. It's a symbol of what can be achieved when mankind bows to the harsh truths of existence, rather than cowering behind illusions of its past. The NCR will learn this, as did the Legion, as did I. In their blind quest for expansion, they overlook one crucial fact. The wasteland is not a kingdom to be conquered, but a crucible. And in a crucible, it's not the metal that decides its form, it's the fire. They've overstretched, their limbs quivering under the weight of their ambition. The bureaucracy bloats, corruption festers, and the common folk grow disillusioned. Their military, once the iron fist of the Republic, is now a patchwork of conscripts and volunteers, unprepared for the brutality of the wasteland. When I walked with the Legion, we knew that victory was not in numbers or technology, but in will. The NCR is losing its will, distracted by its own spectacle. When the facade finally cracks, when their own sins rise up to meet them, the NCR will face a reckoning, a harsh reckoning, meted out by the indifferent, unyielding hand of the wasteland. And then, perhaps, they'll understand what I've come to learn through years of suffering and redemption. Power is not the end, but merely the means. True civilization does not lie in the trappings of laws and economies, but in how we treat one another, in the compassion we show to even the least of us. Until they learn that, the NCR is merely a hollow echo, a whisper of a world gone by, destined to be carried away by the winds of the Mojave.